Since the beginning of time, the age-long argument has been whether man gets to control his future or not. The answer is yes and no. Man gets to control his future by the choices he makes. As an individual, a third party can alter the future of another man by changing his choice slightly. Even if a choice is made a few minutes or a few seconds earlier, this results in a whole new story for the individual and the people who his choice affects. I am one of the watchers missed the part. Join me as we search the multiverse to see how one man's choice can completely change another man's life trajectory. T'Challa sat on his throne as he examined the matter before him. A mercenary, Eric Stevens, claimed to be his cousin. Nobody believed him until he showed proof of his Wakanda heritage. T'Challa was not surprised. He already knew about him from Ziri. T'Challa was taken aback when Killmonger challenged him to a ritual combat for the throne, but rules were rules. He'd have to accept any challenge for the throne, and since he was an honorable king, he had no choice. After all, what was the worst that could happen? Everybody gathered around the waterfall to witness the fight between T'Challa and Killmonger. T'Challa had to drink a concoction to neutralize the powers of the heart-shaped herb. The herb made him more than any man. It made him the Black Panther. Now stripped of his powers, T'Challa squared off with Killmonger. They circled each other as they sized themselves up. Then Killmonger charged. The fight was a tough one for both men, proving to be equal opponents until Killmonger landed a deadly blow to T'Challa. Looking at T'Challa, Killmonger remembered how his father was taken away from him by T'Chaka. He decided that throwing him off the cliff would not be enough punishment for the mother and sister of T'Challa. He wanted them to go through the trauma of the loss and pain that he went through. His instincts also wanted him to be sure that all threats were exhausted. Killmonger turned to T'Challa towards his family and slit his throat while they watched. Shortly after, T'Challa and Ziri's bodies were thrown off the cliff. The Queen and Shuri and Ross, along with Nika, went to M'Baka's palace. They figured that there was one last hope. They wanted him to take the herb Nika stole and become the next Black Panther. When they explained their situation to him, M'Baka took them into a chamber. In the chamber, they saw the dead body of T'Challa. After much weeping and grief, they resolved to start a revolution with the Jarbite tribe and M'Baka as their leader. The Queen met with Oki in secret to aid them in their secret cause, but Okioi refused. "My loyalty belongs to the throne and not the person that sits on it," Okioi said. The Queen was, however, given a package from Okioi. "It was given to me by a garden attendant that T'Challa was gracious to," she whispered to the Queen as she handed over the package. At M'Baka's palace, it was discovered that the package was a heart-shaped fruit. There was a chance for not just one Black Panther, but two. It was then decided that Shuri and M'Baka were to take the heart-shaped fruit to stand a chance against Killmonger and his entire army as they planned to take over the world. Both of them took the herb at the same time and entered into a trance. Shuri saw T'Challa in her trance and they talked. "Do not follow the footsteps of our father, just follow your heart. I know you have a good one," T'Challa told her. Killmonger and Wakabai were all set on conquering the world by launching their ships when M'Baka, along with the Jarbite tribe, halted their movements. Shuri, along with Agent Ross and Nika, were busy getting weapons from her lab. Shuri gave Nika some armor while she showed Agent Ross how to virtually operate a plane and shoot down the ships. Killmonger had already launched. Shuri went to a chamber hidden in plain sight inside her lab. When she opened the chamber, she got a necklace with a vibranium pendant. "I haven't tested you yet, but you should do just fine." She grabbed the necklace, and when she wore it, it activated the necklace. A white panther covered her. The ongoing fight was one-sided, and it wasn't even in the favor of M'Baka. He was using T'Challa's suit, but he was not yet accustomed to it. He was having a hard time fending off attacks and attacking others until Shuri arrived. Shuri handed him a sleek, black vibranium staff that completely matched his wooden one. The tide of the battle slowly began to turn in their favor. For the first time in the battle, M'Baka began to see a glimpse of hope. "For T'Challa," he cried as he charged. He could not believe he had made such a statement. Agent Ross was doing pretty well. He managed to shoot down a lot of ships without getting shot himself. The simulation reminded him of a video game he played when he was younger. He marveled at the technology of Wakanda and how it could change the world if they revealed themselves. He pushed all thoughts from his mind as he focused on the last ship. Using aerial movements that even surprised him, he managed to take down the ship before he went down himself. The battle was still in favor of Killmonger until Shuri focused all of her energy into her suit and blasted it out of the carved piece in her suit. She was surprised when her little scheme actually worked. M'Baka decided that if the king was dead, then the war would stop, so he ran straight at Killmonger. He blasted away the guards. M'Baka spun around and tried to use the momentum to strike his club on Killmonger, but missed. As he dodged, Killmonger quickly followed with some swipes of his own, but these were blocked by M'Baka. When Killmonger discovered that M'Baka's staff was made out of vibranium, he snatched it from him, spun around and impaled him through the heart with it. M'Baka was dead. "Stop the fight now, or she follows him to the grave," Killmonger shouted as he pointed M'Baka's staff to the neck of the queen. Shuri and the rest of the Jubara tribe surrendered when they discovered M'Baka was dead, and the queen was captured. When they were all rounded up, Killmonger still went ahead with impaling the queen. These actions were followed by a loud cry from Shuri and Okoye. Years later, Shuri was at her lab, developing new weapons for Killmonger. When she was summoned, after the battle, she along with Ross and Nikai were captured and put into the dungeon with the rest of the Jubara tribe. She was only left out because Killmonger needed her to develop new weapons. Moments later, she knew why she was summoned. She was to help extract an Infinity Stone from Vision without killing him. All of these measures were to stop a mad titan called Thanos from destroying the universe. She understood all of these things, but what she didn't understand was why he was helping the Avengers. Nevertheless, she smiled on seeing two people, Steve Rogers and Wanda Maximoff. They were T'Challa's friends, sort of. It seemed like months of putting her head into work, and research panned out. She was able to get the Infinity Stone within a short period of time. When she did, Killmonger immediately turned on Steve and Wanda by putting a restraint collar on them. She should know she had one on too. She now understood why he helped them. He wanted to use the Infinity Stone for himself. Thanos suddenly invaded Wakanda in search of the Mind Stone, and Killmonger, with the stone embedded in M'Baka's staff, went to meet him with the army of Wakanda. Then, an intense battle began. During the battle, Thor arrived with the other Avengers and the Guardians of the Galaxy. Eventually, Thanos and Killmonger were left to face off each other. Killmonger and Thanos fought, but with speed and numbers on Killmonger's side, he impaled Thanos' heart with the staff. Thanos held him by his neck and snapped it. Thanos laughed and muttered that Killmonger should have gone for the... He was in complete shock when Thor flew down into the scene, cutting off the Mad Titan's hand along with the Infinity Stones. In a split second, he quickly used the Stormbreaker to chop off Thanos' head. Shuri stood in the tomb, fighting back tears as she looked at the graves of her father, mother, and brother. Okoye came and stood beside her, a hand on her shoulder. Nika came and stood at the other side, a hand on Shuri's other shoulder. "They're ready for you, my queen." Shuri gave a smile and nodded. With the world saved from the Mad Titan and Wakanda saved from Killmonger, she needed to lead Wakanda to a new age, and she was going to follow her heart, just like T'Challa had told her to do. And that is going to be, what if Killmonger had killed Black Panther in Black Panther? Do you think that things would have changed drastically if Killmonger was the king? I really liked how Killmonger embedded the Mind Stone into the staff and eventually fought Thanos, the Mad Titan. If you guys do enjoy these videos, this is Season 1, Episode 3 of the reboot. Some of the what-ifs are connected, so look out for Easter eggs, and some of them are just spin-offs. That being said, if you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe, like, share, and turn your notifications on so you and your friends are all up to date with the latest content. That being said, take care and have a fantastic day.